On top of everything else, on top of Trump's other victories, the vaccine rollout has begun, which is just a miracle. I mean, it really, see, this is the thing, it's so easy in politics to get caught up in the bad news. And God knows this year has had plenty of bad news. But we're still living in this world of wonders. There's still wonderful, wonderful people. If you have to go to hospitals for tests, if you go to hospitals for minor procedures and things like that, you meet these people who are coming up, who are some of them are one-generation Americans. They're of all different colors, every possible different color. They're every possible different kind of person, and yet they are so dedicated to what they're doing, and they're so friendly, and they're so kind, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. And they have been going through hell with this vaccine. There's just no question about it that this has been a really dangerous thing. And now this miraculous vaccine out in a year. And I just think it is time for us to all stop and appreciate the encouragement that our news media gave to Donald Trump when he said he was going to get this vaccine out in a year, or that he hoped to get it out in a year, the way they cheered him on, the way they stood behind him. This is from our friends at Media Research Center. It's long, but it's worth playing the whole thing because it's just too beautiful as this vaccine rolls out to remember what the media told us about it all through the year. This is cut 7.
And on a vaccine,
we'd love to see if we could do it prior to the end of the year.
But many scientists, including the president's ousted former top vaccine official, say that is overly optimistic.
That's an ambitious timeline, and many health experts aren't so sure it's achievable.
So many experts and doctors today immediately cast doubt on that.
Experts say he'd need a miracle to be right. It would take, over a year.
Experts are warning that kind of timeline may be overly ambitious.
Health experts pushing back.
So many experts.
NBC News did a fact check on this today that a coronavirus vaccine, Trump says it could come out this year, this sort of, happy talk that he's doing about a vaccine.
You cannot talk yourself into a vaccine. The fastest a vaccine has ever been produced from start to finish is 5 years.
Previous vaccines have taken years to develop.
History actually holds a lot of different lessons for us about politicians rushing to science when it comes to vaccines.
Will we get the best vaccine in this timetable, or will we just get a vaccine?
This kind of promise is clearly political, but it's also remarkably dangerous.
Some have even argued it's perhaps dangerous.
So if we say, well, they can't really get this vaccine, the science is questionable. Now we're the negative Nancys. Oh, look at that Acosta, always trying to kill our optimism.
The negative Nancys. Jim Acosta. Jim, look at me, I'm Jim Acosta, tweeted, oh, look, here is Trump. Here's the experts telling Trump he's not going to have a vaccine this year 3 times, and Trump isn't listening. Just wonderful stuff. I think we have to just balance that with the video of Nurse Sandra Lindsay in Queens, New York, being the first lady to get the vaccine. Is cut 15.
I received the vaccine a short while ago. I feel great. It didn't feel any different from receiving my annual influenza vaccine. I am very proud to be a healthcare worker, and I'm also very proud to be in this position to promote public confidence in the safety of the vaccine. I encourage everyone to take the vaccine.
That's great. Here's Boston Medical Center's medical staff. This is their support medical staff reacting to the vaccines. Cut 21. So they're a little happy they're over there. You got to think about it because, I haven't worried too much about this vaccine. I've taken, what I feel were reasonable precautions, but I've seen everything, and if it's time, it's time. It's time. And, but if you're a healthcare worker and you're watching the people who come into the hospital, the people who are really suffering, and you're watching people die every day, and that you're exposed to it all the time. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. That's private industry working with government support, which is the way it ought to be. Before you go, one last thing: hit the subscribe button so that you stay up to date on all our content.